3. Hello and welcome to Simon's Pro Wrestling Show. My name is Simon. This is Pro Wrestling Show. And what an absolute crazy world we are living in. It's like I just said this 37 seconds ago. It's true, though. There's a lot of opinions out there right now. Should WrestleMania have done this? Should WrestleMania not have done this? Is it good? Is it bad? Nobody. I mean, the thing is, with what's going on right now, there's no real right or wrong answer. I mean, there really, really isn't. That's the truth of it. It's you can look at it from whatever direction that you want, but I think from my point of view, I just want to be distracted, right? I just want entertainment. Things like this happen, and then we can come on here and we can talk about it, and we can just kind of forget about everything that's been going on in the world. And it's literally affecting everybody. I would imagine 100% of people watching this have been affected by this news in some fashion. Of course you have. Because even if it's just watching Raw or watching SmackDown or watching WrestleMania 36 that is going to come from us live from the Performance Center in front of 0 people, well, that affects your form of entertainment. Just nuts. Just crazy. Quick shout out to everyone that joined the Patreon this week. Patreon.com/Simon316. There's going to be a few changes to the Patreon and YouTube over the next few weeks because like a lot of people, I lost a lot of work. I've lost a lot of wrestling bookings, so I'm going to have to kind of ramp up the content a little bit, or at least be a bit more savvy with trying to make a bit of moolah on the old YouTube. On that note, shout out to people that are already super chatting. I appreciate that. Again, it will all feed back into the podcast, and please do feel free to throw me a super chat if you want to ask a question, you want to call me a bald asshole, or whatever you'd like to do. I'll answer anything that you throw in there. And come follow me on Simon316 on Instagram and Twitter, and shout out to pinsandknuckles.com and pinsandknucklesmerch.com for always supporting Simon Miller's Pro Wrestling Show. We'll start with non-WWE guy who says, main event for Pancakers Pile Driver Show officially changed. Sami Callihan and Simon Miller versus that thing I'm not going to say because YouTube bans it. That thing loses it, it leaves his town. Unfortunately, that's not how the world works, if only it was. Yes, on that note, because a lot of people have asked me, I mean, it doesn't take a genius to figure it out. Sami Callihan versus myself in a What Culture Death match has been cancelled. Not cancelled, postponed, delayed. We're going to do it later in the year once all things calm down. But of course it has. I mean, WrestleCon is gone. I think Joey Janela's shows are down. Everything that kind of was going to run through WrestleMania weekend. I mean, WrestleMania's gone. It just is. Maybe not in the proper sense. You know, they haven't sort of, at the moment anyway, they haven't like stuck a dagger in it. But it is, I don't know. It's just mad. It's just proper mad times. But, you know, we'll take it as we come. I think right now the most important thing, without wanting to sound like a preacher, is to just put each other first, stay safe, be healthy, be nice, and everything else that happens we'll take with a pinch of salt. Shout out to Nothing Worse Than Dried Chicken, great name. WrestleMania will be copied and pasted for SummerSlam, surely, maybe. Again, I don't really know. It depends. Do we really want these kind of feuds to last until August? I don't. Look, it sucks if Drew McIntyre beats Brock Lesnar for the championship in front of nobody. But again, what do you do? And also, we don't know how long this thing is going to go on for. We may get to August and still not be able to do it. So you kind of just have to feel this thing out and take it day by day. Hershey's Cookies 2020, the super chat. You get a hand on the heart, by the way. If you give me a super chat, you get a hand on the heart. Don't ask me why. I just started doing it once. Simon Chance, I want to see the death match. I promise you the death match will happen. I promise you that. Breaking kayfabe for a couple of seconds. I've spoken to Sami, and it's going to happen. I promise you it's going to happen. We're just going to have to wait it out. But ultimately, it's not the worst thing in the world. I was pretty down about it. I lost a lot of money on flights and hotels. What can you do? I'm not the only person alone in that boat. But there are worse things. Like people have lost loved ones. People have lost friends and family. And nothing is more important than that. Nothing. That is the absolute, right? That is the end. I'll be able to figure all that stuff out. I'll be able to balance out my finances down the line. But you don't get that back. So I think we have to keep some perspective. As much as, of course, it is going to irk people. And the craziness as well. Like, obviously, we know about eggs. We know about toilet paper and cereal and milk and all of this. Now, weight sets are selling out. Like dumbbells and barbells. Because people think the gyms are going to close. So I had to buy one. I was only looking just in case. It sold out. Oh, it doesn't matter. My man Brandon Carvalho says, Rowan Spider got that thing. I can't say it's why Drew killed it. # payoff. Well, he didn't do a very good job, did he? He didn't do a very good job at all. So yeah, look, we'll focus on WrestleMania to begin with and my thoughts on it. Although I kind of touched upon it really, because the headline from Simon Miller Daily is, I don't begrudge anyone doing anything at this stage. As long as WWE are putting the health and safety first of their performers, That's fine. That's all I care about. And I'm sure they want to perform. Nobody likes having to sit at home and not do anything. It's very, very difficult, especially when you've got the news on and you're just being bombarded with these information. But look, I think it will provide us some form of talking point in early April that we can have some fun with. And again, we'll stop thinking about everything else that's going on. And I don't really know what else they could have done. I mean, Donald Trump came out yesterday and said that he doesn't think we should have gatherings of over 10 people. What else can you do? The only place you could have done it was the Performance Center. That's it. That's the only one. So it's... yeah, I know some people are upset and some people are disappointed. And of course, you're more within your rights to be that way, especially if you're a big Roman Reigns fan or, again, a Drew McIntyre fan or whatever. Maybe you're a big Kevin Owens fan and you wanted to see him whip Seth Rollins' ass. But it is just wrestling. And I love wrestling. And if it went away, there'd be this huge gap in my life. But it is just wrestling. It's not the be-all and end-all. It's not the end of the world. Just let them do whatever they think is the right thing to do and hope that they'll make other decisions as and when the time should be right. So, yeah, that's my thought on it. I'm completely neutral on the matter. If they had cancelled, I would have gone okay. We've got the Performance Center thing. I go okay. I certainly don't think it should be 7 hours in the Performance Center. I think that would be really, really difficult. But I'd cut a load of matches out. I wouldn't do the Battle Royals. Anything that's kind of not set in stone, I wouldn't set in stone. I'd probably have a 5-6 match card, make it a bit like a takeover. I'd do Drew McIntyre, Brock Lesnar. I'd do John Cena versus The Fiend. I'd do Goldberg versus Roman Reigns. I'd do Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins. I'd do Shayna Baszler versus Becky Lynch. And I'd probably just do Bayley versus somebody. And I know that's crapping all over the tag team belts, but there's no real feuds going on either of them right now. And again, I think people will understand. I would understand anyway. I don't want to talk on your guys' behalf. That's not fair. I would understand. And I don't necessarily need to see it. And it's not WrestleMania either. Like, it's not. We could call it WrestleMania, but it's not WrestleMania. So I would keep it to those. I'm sure there's probably some other matches that I've forgotten about. Elias versus Baron Corbin, for example. I like those guys. You know, they're really good at what they do. I don't need to see it on that card. I think we just want to get in, have some fun, and get out. I'd also pre-record some of the stuff. Like maybe Seth Rollins versus Kevin Owens. Or maybe, sorry, you should put Edge versus Randy Orton on there as well. Maybe, actually, no, Seth Rollins versus Kevin Owens, maybe pre-record some stuff. It's going to be difficult. I'd rather they did that with Edge Randy Orton, because that's a full last man standing, so they probably are going to brawl around the place. Maybe there's no fans, actually. My point was, because it's Edge's first match back, or second match technically, maybe you don't want to do that. I changed my mind. You probably could do that. I think you should pre-record some of it. Do some crazy camera angles. Really up the production values, a la Final Deletion. Make it feel a little bit different. Then when you are watching it, the fact there's no atmosphere and there's no crowd and we are in this tiny building won't even matter, because we've kind of taken advantage of that. That's how I see it. Yep, Dan Lennon in Super Chat rightfully points out in New York they closed the gyms yesterday, closed them in LA as well. You have to put, but again, you have to put people's livelihoods first. You just do, of course you do. I saw some images earlier of people in, is it Clearwater Beach, Florida? Something like that. And there was just loads of people on the sand. And I was like, damn, people ain't listening. And I get some people think it's overblown again. Not directly, thank goodness, but I know of people far removed from me who have had people die because of this. It's a big deal. And also, I don't understand this. I don't want to get too off track here, but I don't understand this whole thing. Well, the flu kills more people. I don't care if it kills one person. There's one person too many. Lives matter, man. It certainly matters to the people that knew that person. I hate that. Or some people go, it only affects the old people. Okay, well, when you're past 70, somebody will come and just kick you in the road. And you won't care because you're just an old person. It's preposterous. Jonathan Jen in Super Chat says, have some support, mate. And that's very kind, dude. I appreciate that. Take this time to prepare things to hit Callahan with a cricket bat, a YouTube plaque, a keyboard, a colleague. A colleague is good. Yeah, I can use Phil. I mean, Phil was definitely going to get involved anyway. There was no way we would have done anything else. We'll get there. I promise you, from the bottom of my heart, even though I have to swim to America, which we won't because we'll do it when things are back to normal, but I will ensure that it happens. Sean Gilhorn in Super Chat says, of all the bored assholes, you are by far the best one. Sorry to hear all of the hardship this is causing. Hopefully this clears up soon and we can return to some normalcy. Hand on heart. Amen, Sean. It's all good. Like I say, it's... what can you do? What can you do? Again, I do want to talk about Raw, and we will talk about it in 30 seconds. But look, it's such a prevalent, massive news story. We've never experienced anything this like a society. It's always going to, muscle its way in to the conversation. But it will have affected everybody. Of course it will have done. There's a chain over here called Carphone Warehouse who have used this time to shut all their stores down. I think it affected something like 2,500 people. How are they going to get jobs at the moment? They're probably not going to be able to. So all we can do is what we can do. So actually, as a quick advert, because a lot of people watch these and listen to these, I'm going to make sure I do loads of YouTube content, see if we can't get some revenue that way. Going to start doing some streaming, starting with Doom. I'm going to do a Doom review on my YouTube channel, which you're watching now, but twitch.tv/Simon316. This is what I was hinting at the other week. This is what I've been waiting for. I used to work in games, so someone very kindly has given me an early access to Doom, mostly because I love Doom, and they know Miller ain't going to crap on Doom. I love it. I'm obsessed. So I can't do it till tomorrow or Thursday. I've got the embargo. I'll put a little post out on here, but go sign up to my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Simon316, and we're going to play Doom as much as we can. I'm not going to say start to finish because who knows what's going to happen, but we're going to sit there and we're going to try and make my Twitch channel actually mean something, and I'm going to play Doom, and you're going to see how much I love Doom. I also have a little surprise of the thing I'll be wearing on my head. You can probably figure it out, but I'll hold on to that. Tom Talks Robin Super Chat says, here's some pounds for keeping me entertained during this time. Can't watch news right now. Too upsetting, but your videos always make me smile. Tom, that is very, very lovely. Thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate that. Hand on the heart for you. You're always here as well, so I appreciate the support all around. And much love back to you as well. You know, I send you happy and good thoughts. Completely understand about the news. It's kind of crazy. God Family Country and JWS says, wow, I was at the SmackDown after 9/11. Still get goosebumps from Vince's speech. The show must go on. I think it will be a crap show, but again, WWE will set the tone for the great America come back to normal. Yeah, you see, that's one way to look at it. Absolutely, dude. And I massively respect, and I think I'm with you. I think a little bit of normality here and there can actually make all the difference, as long as people are safe. Again, I'm not advocating for anything but safety. But no, I agree. I mean, the 9/11 thing is still something that people talk about. Should they have done it? Shouldn't they have done it? But again, there's good people like yourself that actually took solace from that. They took hope from that. It made them feel like everything was going to be okay. And that's why I'm not going to crap on anybody at the moment, because if anything is sending out positive messages and, again, just making people feel like they're going to be okay, I 100% support that. Shout out to Samuel Petrovich. Hope I got that right. Just threw some money in the super chat. It's very kind of you, my friend. And BA4, he's got the questions, and then we'll talk about Raw, I promise. He just says, do you think that the AEW Revelation tag match was better than the DIY versus the Revival? And have AEW contacted you in any way? I'd have to sit down and watch both tag matches back to back. When it comes to, is this match better than that match, or is this guy better than that guy, I'm really annoying, and I'm like, I just like the fact that they were all brilliant. So I will sit on the fence again now and simply say that I think I'll say this. Top of my head, but this could be because I haven't seen the DIY Revival match for ages. I think I prefer the AEW Revolution tag match. However, deliberately for you, my friend, I will watch both next week. This week, we'll talk about Tuesday, and I'll let you know when we do one on Thursday. Although I think the AEW one was my favorite. But again, I have to watch. No, I haven't received any contact from AEW aside from the wonderful social media tweets they did for me. Massively loved all of that. Clearly, other things have come along and pushed that to one side, as they so should. But when things calm down, we'll see what's going to happen. Always believe, live your dreams, right? That's the most important thing. My man OP in the super chat says, I'll super chat you 2 toilet rolls instead, Simon. Right? Doesn't deal with toilet roll. I refuse to stockpile. I refuse. I was in the supermarket the other day, and I could have done, but I refuse because I think it's selfish, and I think it's mean, and I think it's cruel, and I think it proves the zombie apocalypse movies right? That as soon as something comes that attacks mankind, we all turn on each other. So I refuse to do it. And then I went in there, so that was like, it was like a space of like 3-4 days, just ransacked. I saw one person buying like 42 rolls, and I almost said something, but I thought, no, that's negative. It's time for positivity. Just don't do it. The irony being, if none of us did it, then nobody would need to do it. And now you're forcing other people into doing it. But thanks for my 2 toilet rolls, man. I appreciate it. I'm down to like 1 sheet. You just use 1 sheet at a time. And then you just kind of rip. No, let's not get down that conversation. Not in the Know the Super Chat says, could a Funhouse edition of SmackDown work? Absolutely. 100%. I think we should We should try all these different things. If they don't work, you've got a free pass. I think we should try something like the final deletion. I think you could do some halftime heat kind of a stuff. But don't forget, that was an empty arena match, but it was fun because we went backstage, we went outside, and we went here, there, and everywhere. So you could do that. You could film some, I mean, I know this wasn't WWE related, but you could film some promos like Jon Moxley when he announced himself as going back to the Jon Moxley name. You know, I think kind of mucking around with the standard formula right now is something that you would be able to do. So let's throw ourselves into it. Totally. Brandon Carvalho says, hopefully you can do some metal reviews. I want to get on that Aussie album, which I still haven't heard. So yes, my reaction plan has completely fallen out. Basically, what's going to happen soon with my reaction videos is the weekend we'll do reaction videos. I'm going to throw some for Patreons too. Cheap plug, patreon.com/Simon316. But I'm not there yet. This thing came quick. Almighty Hulk Fan 3. How will Redacted affect your pro wrestling career? Would you be willing to do empty arena matches if the opportunity arises? Big fan, asshole or not? How will Redacted? I don't know what Redacted is. Oh, you mean the, all right, of course, you mean the thing. We'll call it the thing. Everyone call it the thing. You're not allowed to. So if people don't know, YouTube does not like the thing, the big thing taking over the world right now. If you say it, your video is dead. It has affected my pro wrestling career. I'm not going to make an announcement until I know 100%. But I would think with the conversations that I've had, all of my bookings for the rest of March have been wiped out, which kills me because I was looking forward to some of them so much. And I think essentially half of mine in early April are gone too. It kills me, man. It kills me. Like, one of my favorite things to do at the moment is try to get better at wrestling. And I look forward to having those matches. And I understand it, like I've already said, but it doesn't mean it doesn't hurt, right? And it's not a big deal. Of course it's not, but it's a big deal in my tiny little bubble. So unfortunately, it is going to affect my wrestling career in the short term. There being some, it's like a good and a bad. It's affected everybody's wrestling career. And that doesn't help. But when you see it happening to everyone, you're like, well, we're all in the same boat. So at least we have some company. And would I be willing to empty arena matches? Of course. Opportunity is opportunity. Never say no. One thing I learned in my life. And even if you don't think you can do said opportunity, say yes, and then in the interim, go and learn what you have to do. Shout out to Matthew Bailey, who very kindly just put some money in the super chat. Thank you very much, Matthew. I've seen you here before, so you get a salute too. That's very kind of you. And Daniel Brotherton says, we are going to talk about Raw, but I want to make sure I get to everybody first. And we will read some other comments out too, of course. Despite what's happening, I'm excited for Mania, says Daniel. At least everyone can be entertained, although I would have got rid of SummerSlam and just had Mania. Well, they may still do that. We don't know what, look, because I have this vision that maybe it was always going to be Drew McIntyre winning the WWE title, but now Brock Lesnar beats him. But then we get the rematch and Drew gets it in front of a big crowd. I'd be okay with that. Like the again, good thing is not the right word. But the interesting take on all of this is you can do things that you wouldn't be able to get away with otherwise. And you will get away with it because people can understand where we're at. So I never in a million years would say Drew McIntyre should lose if it's in front of 60,000 people in Tampa. But in the Performance Center with nobody with the potential to get past this and properly coronate him, yes, I think you can do that now. Just come up with a plan. And that's something that Paul Heyman is really good at. Anthony Taggle, T-Dog, my man, nice to see you, my friend. I can appreciate what WWE is doing by trying to entertain us through all this craziness, but I love you, Simon. I like it. Thank you for always being positive. I always will be. I will always be positive no matter what. And no, that's not true. If I think something is wrong, I will call it out. Some people think I won't call things out because I don't call things out. Absolutely not. If somebody does something wrong, I'm not going to sit here and pretend otherwise. That would be disingenuous and stupid. But I don't see anything wrong in WWE continuing to run shows. Again, caveat, as long as everybody's being protected. That's the main thing. It gives us something to talk about. Like, we're going to talk about an empty arena Raw in a minute. Think of that. My man Dan Lemley says, now would be a good time to stream on Twitch. To get affiliated, I'll be there. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate that. And that's another chance, cheap plug, twitch.tv/Simon316. At some point on Thursday, I can't remember when the embargo is, but at some point on Thursday, we're going to be live streaming Doom. What's it called? It's Doom Immortal, right? Eternal. Doom Eternal. They always get those names confused. And I'll do a review on here as well. Haven't done a gaming review in ages. Flub it. The embargo goes down today. I've only played about an hour, so it's not going to happen. But I'll get it done and we'll absolutely do it. My man Nick C in the super chat says, this will be the weirdest Mania ever. Also, I'll be playing the crap out of Doom Eternal as well. Much love and to you, my friend. It is going to be a weird Mania. It is. But again, much like we just talked about, we're all in this boat together. Even WWE, this multi-billion corporation, they're in it too. This bald asshole's in it. You're in it. We're just fighting our way through. Hershey Cookies 2010 says stockpile on protein, golden up. Oh, dude, don't get me wrong. I got protein for days. If I have to live off damn whey protein, I don't take whey protein, but if I have to live off protein supplements, that's what I'll do. I do not recommend it, but whatever we got to do. Tom Talks Rubbish in the Super Chat says, I'm using the time to finish my book and YouTube good ideas. Hell yeah, man. Like, that's a great way to do it. That's being productive. That is being super productive. Like, look on the bright side, find the silver lining, smash through. OP in the Super Chat says, Taker looked hard as nails. Stay safe, Simon. He did. And in fact, I'll use that to jump onto Raw in 2 seconds. I totally agree with you. And Damn Lemley says in the Super Chat, Tom Brady announced he's not returning to the Patriots. So there's some breaking news for you as well. I didn't know that. I knew he was thinking about it. Where's he going to go then? Man, is this even the time to announce it? I don't know. Right, let's use the OP's comment to jump into this. Raw. A fascinating show. It was almost like an experiment in social awareness. Obviously, a massive part of it was taken up with the men's Royal Rumble match. Not got a problem with it. I think 3 hours of them doing skits would have been too much. I'm not going to lie. I kind of skipped through it. Not the Raw, the Royal Rumble match because I'd seen it. I kind of went back to the highlights that I enjoyed. So I watched most of Brock decimating everyone because it makes me laugh. I watched obviously Drew McIntyre taking him out. I watched the Edge bit. I watched MVP. All the bits that kind of, made me react. But no, I'm not going to pretend I sat there and watched it again. And if you want to know how I reviewed that and ups and downs, 36 minutes. What Culture Wrestling? Make sure you subscribe. Oh, and if you're new, make sure you subscribe to me as well and give me a like. I would appreciate that. So thank you very much. I forgot to say that earlier. But we'll start with the Undertaker thing. Why not? There's no reason to sort of have a structure for this. It was just so weird. I mean, Undertaker comes out with his purpley lights and his dark theme and his music, storms to the ring, which he had to do, kind of looking like Dead Man mixed with American Badass, which again, you have to be smart with this kind of stuff. Has a little back and forth with AJ. Gallows and Anderson come down. He signs the contract, beats up Gallows and Anderson. I will say, of all the things that WWE could have gone back on advertising-wise, I wouldn't have done the contract signing. I think contract signings are ridiculous to begin with. And to do it in an empty arena, I think you could have come up with something else. But look, I want to see the match. I think that's one of the ones that will suffer from not being in front of a live crowd. Because, again, there are two things. If I had said to you that the 2020 WrestleMania will be in the Performance Center in front of no fans, you'd be like, huh? And if I had said to you, say, 10 years ago, it'll be AJ Styles versus The Undertaker, you would have kicked me in my groin. Let's not pretend otherwise. You would have booted me right in the balls because you'd been like, Simon, it's not nice to lie. Didn't your mother teach you better than that? Or were you dragged up? And yet we were getting both of those things, which is it's just a strange thing. But it was fine. Like, a lot of this episode of Raw, I give a massive free pass to. So what I'm going to do? What else could they have done? Like, if you were in charge of this, I do think when you remove the fans and you have The Undertaker being properly ragged on by AJ Styles and he just stands in the ring and doesn't go anywhere, it comes across as a bit weird. It's almost like when you have the atmosphere of a crowd, that is some kind of protective barrier which justifies a wrestler staying in the ring. But when it's not there, you're like, go kill him. Go kick his ass, Undertaker. It's like, just go. So that was a bit odd. I thought AJ Styles' promo was great. I thought it was hilarious when the lights went out and Undertaker appeared behind Gallows and Anderson, which finally proved he does have magic powers. It's not production. There was no production here. He just has super magical powers. I'm less excited about it now, again, that I know it's going to be in an empty arena. I don't think it's something that would necessarily benefit from that. But, well, we've already gone over it. I don't want to go over it all again. But interesting. But you're right, he did look quite hard, Taker. Just looked so mad when he flipped the desk. I was like, all right, calm down. And we started with an Edge promo, too. I tell you, the one massive takeaway from these empty arena things is that when we want fire promos full of intensity and reality, you put somebody backstage from now on and you just let them talk. And you let them talk to the camera and you don't give them a script. Everything Edge said here was relatable. It was badass. It had justification to it. It tied into events of the last few weeks. It made me want to see the match. They're going to do Falls Count Anywhere. No, they're not. They're going to do Last Man Standing. Totally excellent. Totally excellent. I thought that Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt and John Cena have all proven that this should be the format for promos going forward. I obviously, you're going to have to do it in front of the fans at some point, but it's somebody's job to come up with a way to allow them to talk like this. Just let them talk like this. People do talk like that. It's made me like all four guys so much more, and I was high on them anyway. So I'm 100% behind them doing that. I thought it was brilliant. A great way to start. The Becky Lynch truck lost on me. Not going to lie. I thought that was way too ridiculous. I love ridiculous. I'm a ridiculous man. I'm a bald, ridiculous man. But that, I just sat there dumbfounded as to what that was, especially because in her promo later, she even referenced the truck by saying, Shayna Baszler, it's going to feel like a truck hit you. I was like, is that where this idea came from? Somebody wrote the promo and said, oh, we could get Becky a truck. I think the problem I had with it, and I'm being a bit mean here, so you're free to point at me and go meanie, it just felt like someone had said, well, we can try and make a Stone Cold Steve Austin. What didn't he do, but is kind of like what he did? I almost feel like we're going a little bit too far away, which made Becky so lovable to begin with. But maybe I'm wrong. You can disagree. But her promo was good. Again, Shayna Baszler just in the back getting mad. I was like, Shayna, just go out there and beat her up. So, it's weird. The fans aren't there. My brain notices this stuff more. We only had one match on the whole thing, other than the Royal Rumble, of course. Rey Mysterio versus Andrade. Smart again. Only went about 5 minutes. You take two guys like that are so talented, they're always going to smash it. They did. Didn't care that Andrade lost because of the situation. And also, does the US title even mean anything right now? I totally understand the point, and you're right to be a bit miffed by it. But I'm going to forget it. Aside from the novel nature of it, I will forget about this show in 66 minutes. Less than that. Ups and downs will be done in about an hour. So in an hour, I'll never think about this show again for that very reason. And other than that, it was just a Stone Cold Steve Austin thing, I believe, which I thought was great because, as it turns out, Stone Cold Steve Austin doesn't need a crowd. He just needs a microphone and a wrestling ring, and he will find a way to be entertaining. I enjoyed all the laws of 316 Day with Byron Saxton reviewing them or rating them. I enjoyed the stunner. Again, Becky Lynch coming out was very out of nowhere. I thought that was odd, but hey, it was fun. And I just like Byron Saxton. I think Byron Saxton is a really good sport, and I think that comes across through the TV, which is why I warmed to him and why I like him. So yeah, 2 thumbs up to Byron Saxton. And I think Stone Cold is a funny guy. It's as simple as that. His facial reactions are great. Even when he is just being a goof, he's a believable goof, which I think is important. If he hadn't have been on the show, I don't think I would have held it against WWE too much. If they thought, well, even though it is 316 Day, maybe it's best to save a Stone Cold Steve Austin appearance for, a time when we do have the crowd. So I appreciated him being there. And yeah, I really laughed. Some of the dumb stuff he was saying was when he just throws himself on the floor. So yeah, it was good. It was fun. It was an enjoyable episode of Raw, I thought, for what it was. The Kevin Owens promo too. Thought that was really good. I thought Kevin Owens was able to take the situation and justify it towards his match. When he got the microphone, he said it's because he wanted to address the camera, so he justified that. Talked about how in the Performance Center is when he had to prove his doubt was wrong, including the likes of Seth Rollins, who didn't stay there very long and went straight to the main roster. And now he's going to kick Seth Rollins' ass in the place where it kind of all re-began for Kevin Owens after he left the quote-unquote indie scene. Just perfect. Just perfect stuff. I really, really thought that. And we're going to have Drew on next week's show. We're going to have Brock on next week's show. They announced somebody else, but now I've forgotten, so clearly I didn't care about that too much. And look, if you did jump through the Royal Rumble match like I did, it was one of the shortest Raws ever. It was like 3 or 4 segments. And again, I don't hold that against them at all. I think it was the right thing to do. I think with over 180 minutes, you would have worn people out without that frenzied kinetic energy from the crowd. So I think right now, WWE are making a lot of intelligent decisions with the product. How SmackDown's going to do, I don't know, because then we would have run the gauntlet with all 3 shows after Wednesday with NXT. But we'll see. It's odd that we're getting another contract signing on SmackDown. It's Goldberg and Roman Reigns. It's like, all right, well, I understand that we're in a bit of a crisis, but at least come up with some creative ideas. The bug doesn't stop your brain from... I don't know. Shout out to Matthew McFadden in the Super Chat who says, also, the worst thing about WrestleMania going ahead is that we don't get The Fiend versus John Cena's Hooters death match. Yeah, the Fiend wanted to do that. He wanted to just have a big fight in Hooters. What are they going to do for John Cena versus The Fiend? That's a hard one too without a crowd, because there'd be a lot of smoke and mirrors and pageantry and production. But maybe they have an idea. The Fiend in that kind of environment may be... I don't know. I won't judge it until I've seen it. Shelby Lynn in the Super Chat says, Simon, I hope you're well. Being a freelancer right now must be crazy. This isn't much, but I hope it helps. Glad we have this community during this. Well, that's very kind, Shelby. Thank you very much. It is quite crazy. A lot of projects have dropped. I'm lucky in the sense that I have What Culture, and I have this, and I have my Patreon. Thank goodness I have all those 3 things. Otherwise, I'd be throwing up right now. But it's all, what's the word? It's all relative, right? And I had loads of other work lined up that I budgeted my life in for, which is now gone. But I'm not alone. But again, I'm lucky that I do, like you say, I'm lucky that I have community. I have guys like you who are very supportive and very nice. Even for tuning in, I appreciate it. And for subscribing and liking and doing all those things. So thank you very much. My man Sean in the Super Chat says, hand on heart for you, do you have Heyman and Brock come out next week and say they are too big to perform an empty Performance Center, skip Mania and extend the feud? Good. See, I remember last week we didn't agree, Sean. Now we're agreeing again. I think these are the kind of things that you could do, yes. I think you could absolutely do that. Or you could even do that at quote-unquote WrestleMania, and you don't do the match. The only problem, this is why it'd be better if they just put it on free television. I understand why they're not. It's still going to be on pay-per-view in the network, because you don't want to screw over the fans in that regard. But even if they did that at WrestleMania, I wouldn't mind. And then Brock vanishes for a while, and Drew goes on a tear, beating the hell out of people before he gets back to him at SummerSlam, and then he wins the belt. Yes, you could do that. I wouldn't be against it, but again, you've got to tread carefully, because if somebody does buy it or buy the network to watch Drew Brock and you do that, that's a little bit of a slap in the face. So maybe you do it on a Raw. But those are the kind of ideas I think they need. Let's come up with some interesting things. I think WrestleMania needs to feel more like an episode of Raw than it does a WrestleMania to get through it. You can't just have match. I think it's going to wear everybody out. We need skits and we need segments. I mean, it has to be stupid or silly. Although really, after the Austin thing, I remember thinking, just do it like this. Let's just have goofy WWE for a while. Let's go back to the mid-90s. But you got to pace it right, and you got to think of it differently to usual. WrestleMania, big, bombastic. It's not anymore. It's going to be small and intimate. And that's the kind of vibe you have to go through. My man Brandon, Super Chat. Since WrestleMania is happening at the PC, do you think it would be interesting to have Shayna versus Becky in some kind of UFC cage? I think this will suit the lack of the crowd. Absolutely. These are great ideas. All you people should write into WWE right now. That's what I'm talking about. Stipulations, oddities, just visual tricks that will make your brain more interested in what you're seeing. These are the things that they need to do. So it doesn't feel like WrestleMania. It doesn't feel like Raw. It feels like a special event that is happening in the middle of a worldwide crisis and is there to distract you. I would do that, yes. That is what I would do. Baz Hoban in Super Chat says, I know you got a couple of months coming up, hard couple of months coming up. This is all I can afford. Dude, if you're financially hard up as well, don't worry about helping me financially. There's no need to do that. But Baz, that's very, very kind of you. I appreciate it. I hope it helps towards you getting through. How do you think AEW is going to feel crowdless with the more indie feel of the wrestling? I mean, dude, if you had asked me what I thought SmackDown was going to feel like, I would have been well off. I think AEW will feel a bit more sparse because we are used to these hot crowds, which have become almost like an extra member. Right? When you tune in, one of the reasons you do it for is for the atmosphere. I don't know. I really don't know. Like, apparently the Exalted one's going to be there Wednesday, and like we were just talking about, I kind of hope they delay it. If it's Matt Hardy, I want that big pop. I need that big pop. That's what wrestling is all about. Like, when we start comparing it to real sports, as people say, I get why the Premier League needs to come up with a contingency plan ASAP, because they have to start a new season. There's Champions League, the European, obviously, Cup, Euros just got moved to next year. But wrestling kind of has the power that they can do whatever the hell they want, really. They make it up as they go along. So I hope I don't mind not getting what I'm advertised at the moment, as long as it ties into the story somehow and then does reemerge when I can get my crowd reaction, which is what I want. But it will feel weird. There's no two ways about it. But look, the cool thing about AEW, not to say that WWE doesn't, but I think AEW at the moment has their ear to the ground a little bit more. I think those guys are so creative and so smart, they've probably already come up with a way to make it work. And WWE has too. I thought Raw was fine. But you know what I mean, right? They're just a bit more in touch, for lack of a better term. But we're going to find out 24, well, more than that, 32 hours time, whatever it's going to be. Bushin Rio Cat Super Chat says, hand on heart to all. That's very nice. I agree. Hand on heart to all. Simon, what if we can convince WWE to film to film the Performance Center with cats and dogs because they can't get the thing? There is your audience. Why not? Why not? Put a pig in there. Can pigs get it? Put a goat, a monkey, a shark. Make sure they're obviously separated because the shark will try and eat everyone. Can it do that out of water? Probably not. Why not? I mean, you're probably then making it a little bit too silly, but I'd be all right with it. I stand behind your crazy idea. Damn Lemony Super Chat says, no red light for Cena versus Bray. Lol. I don't know, man. When there's no crowd, I think they may actually go back to that. I think that's where some of the smoke and mirrors will come. I wouldn't get too confident, Dan. I think you may see it. And Geeked Out Nation, the Super Chat says, hand on the heart, what if they did WrestleMania like Lucha Underground? Here we go. Pre-filmed movie TV style. Do you think that would be better than no fans matches? Yes. That's exactly, I can't believe I hadn't thought about that. That's exactly the kind of style they should be going for. That works perfectly. Hell, just rip it off for all I care. Do it like that, because the different production levels will kind of make you forget that you're not watching a fan dependent show. it would feel more like you're watching a Netflix show or a soap opera. That's one of the first things I would do. It depends, do they have the manpower to do it? That's the other problem at the moment. Can you get all these people in a room to do it? I don't know if you can. The rules are kind of changing all the time, obviously depending where you are as well. And all it takes is one of these people to get it, and the whole thing shuts down. Maybe we don't even get WrestleMania 36 in this, guys. Maybe we don't get Raw. There's SmackDown. Maybe there's no wrestling. That's what really scares me. If there's no wrestling, then I will panic, because a lot of my work goes out the window. So maybe that's why I'm so high on them, keeping them doing this stuff. And my man Raghaven ending the super chat says, WrestleMania 36 behind closed doors will be odd without a crowd. How innovative will the entrances for Cena and Taker be? Their best entrances are saved for Mania. Well, I already think we're doing too much with entrances. I didn't think there was any need for Edge's music to play when he came out. I thought he could have just walked to the ring. I think it's so overbearing because there's no other noise to distract you. When you have three commentators, the three commentators in the ring, and you just have, on this day, you're like, what? It doesn't work without the woo following it afterwards and the steam. So I would pull them right back. Just Undertaker did it perfectly last night. So did Austin. But Austin was doing it very tongue-in-cheek. But I thought Undertaker did it really, really well. So, yeah, I would pull those right back. I know it sucks. That's what we like at WrestleMania. But I really, really would. I'd strip it right down. Brandon Carvalho in the Super Chat says, have the WrestleMania crowd be only people that already have the thing. I see what you mean, Brandon. You kind of missed the point a little bit about spreading. But I take your point. Imagine that. You get tested. Oh, yeah, you can come in. You got it. That's cool. I see what you mean, but maybe not. BA4 in the Super Chat says, if you could show a non-wrestling fan a wrestling match to get them into it, what would you show them? I would show them Ibushi versus Omega at G1 2018 because it's not too long and it is impressive. I do the same old thing. I show people Ospreay versus Ricochet, the match that broke the internet. It's flippy, it's floppy, there's dives, there's athleticism. And it's just very easy for a non-wrestling fan to kind of start understanding what wrestling is, because I think a lot of people have a predetermined idea, and I think that kind of breaks it down. And I've done that with a lot of people that just get into wrestling, and most of them get it, or at least they're more intrigued. You then kind of have to start introducing storylines and narratives and threads and how that can be a big payoff. So sometimes I use John Cena versus CM Punk at Money in the Bank 2011, because when you explain that CM Punk's contract was real and so on and so forth, they can get their head around that, right? It's a story that makes sense. But there's loads. I mean, somebody in the chat says Taker versus Mankind, Hell in a Cell. That's a little bit of a tightrope walk because they may be so disgusted by the brutality they never watch again. But I certainly see where you're coming from. So that was Raw. Yeah, I'm not judging the shows massively at the moment because they're not real shows. It's a bunch of people with their backs against the wall doing what they can. And I'm just going to see how it plays out. You know, NXT and AEW will be fascinating tomorrow. So we'll SmackDown on Friday. And then we are, 2 weeks away, basically, at the end of the week. 2 weeks Sunday till WrestleMania. Flipping it. This has just come. I think that's the thing for me. Not that wrestling rules the world or is the center of anybody else's lives apart from maybe you and I. But the fact that it's happened now in the build. Because if this had happened in the build up to Great Balls of Fire, I don't think anybody would have been so well. I mean, we would have been alarmed, but not in a wrestling sense. So for it to happen as we build up to WrestleMania 36, like the biggest show, and you know, so many people going in, and stuff like WrestleCon and all the independent shows that surround it. And it really couldn't have come at a worse time. And it's probably going to wipe some of the independent companies out who've invested so much money into this weekend and now can't make a return on it. So just shout out to everybody, really. Shout out to everybody that's struggling with this right now. It's so easy to get annoyed that you have to sit in, or that, you know, your normal life has gone to pot a little bit. And that does suck. But there are people out there that are going to have to take years to get over this. And that is that's a tough thing to think about. Shout out to my man Kane. Imagine it was actually Kane in the Super Chat. They should do WrestleMania final deletion style. This is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. This is what I like to hear. I totally agree with you. I think it would make it... I think there's an opportunity to benefit from this and just give us something really, really different, because it is really, really different. Not only would it stand the test of time, so when people go back to watch WrestleMania 36, like, what the hell happened here? Oh, it's that WrestleMania. But you may as well just throw some stuff at the wall and see what sticks. We've never done this before. So I don't think when you're so out of your element, I don't think you should just be doing what we did beforehand. I think we should be coming up with some brand new concepts. My man AJ Park in Super Chat says, Simon, here's a promo for you. Reality is lost on those who choose to lose it. Sammy, the baldest bald man, is coming for you. Why? Here's why. Reality is lost on those who choose to lose it. Reality is lost on those who choose to lose it. Wouldn't that be true for most things, though? Like, hygiene is lost on those who choose to lose it because you don't shower. I like it, though. It's a good line. Keep an eye out for an AJ. If I do steal it, I'll make sure to credit you. I do have a line I want to bust out, but I think it's more of a heel line. So I'm waiting for somebody to turn me heel. As of yet, ain't nobody doing it. Daniel Brother Super Chat says, why did you stop playing Jedi Fallen Order? Because nobody was watching it, Daniel, and I found it a bit embarrassing. It's true. That's why I did start doing it. But if we are going to smash this stuff on twitch.tv again, /Simon3116 cheap plug, I'll keep going with that because I actually have a little bit of a project. But yes, not only was nobody watching it, it was just destroying my subs on YouTube. People would unsub when I started playing it. And sometimes you got to put your business hat on and go, this is a bad idea, Simon. Nobody is sat here watching you, waiting for you to play video games. So we'll do it on Twitch instead. You see? We'll do it on Twitch instead. Let me check the news. In case anything has broken while what's bigger than WrestleMania going into a warehouse, essentially? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Stone Cold Steve Austin did apologize for kicking Byron Saxton in the balls, which you can notice very obviously on that first stunner. Kind of funny. Obviously, NXT TakeOver and Hall of Fame have been delayed. Same with the Raw and SmackDown after WrestleMania. I assume they're all going to happen from the Performance Center, but at the moment, it's just delayed. That's that is the headlines from that. I think that's about it. Yeah, apparently all talent have to be screened before entering the Performance Center, which just makes sense. I don't even think that's a news story. That's just smart. Like, why the hell wouldn't you do that? And other than that, yeah, nothing. Everyone is just focused on that, as they should be, and as they would be. It's just, I still can't get my head around it. When I read it late last night, I was like, wow, it actually happened. So talk about Oscar and Raw as well. I found out afterwards that Oscar, some people didn't enjoy Oscar's crazy rant during the Andrade match. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. I mean, it didn't make any sense and it was very distracting, but I sat there laughing my head off. She was so mad about everything and I have no idea why. So shout out to Oscar. Absolutely shout out to Oscar. I think she's amazing. I think, she's the MVP of Raw and SmackDown at the moment, just by coming out and doing bizarre things. She's having the time of her life. I don't think she cares. More power to her. Nothing worse than dried chicken, and Super Chat says, at least WWE are trying something new, but safely. I agree. Safety is key, and I'm enjoying it. It kind of feels like we've entered an alternative universe. We're not just going through the same Raw, SmackDown, pay-per-view cycle, which is fine. I love it. Of course I do. I've been watching it for years. But this genuinely does feel like we've entered some, like I say, it's a brand new world. A crazy new world. A terrifying new world where these things are happening. I'm trying to think if anything else happened over the weekend. I mean, it's not really, the Empty Arena SmackDown, I kind of felt similar about this. I thought Cesaro versus Daniel Bryan, I thought was amazing in terms of what they were asked to do and how they dealt with it. I enjoyed the tag match at the start. I thought all the, the criticism of Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross, and who the hell were they fighting? Sasha Banks and Bayley. I thought all the criticism of them stopping fighting in the commercials was mad. They're learning as they go. Like, just give them a break, for goodness sake. And yeah, I thought like I say earlier, the John Cena Bray Wyatt stuff. That was. I mean, it felt like a bit like amateur Shakespeare, but clearly I like amateur Shakespeare because I got a kick out of that, and I thought it was the most real that Roman Reigns had ever been too. I bought into every single word that Roman Reigns has said. So yeah, 2 thumbs up all round from me. Lamel KH2 in the Super Chat says, my dreams came true. The Oscar up. Watch ups and downs today, my friend. If you like the Oscar up, it's back with a vengeance. Wimplo86 says, describe how you would sell the stunner. You just rip off Scott Hall. Raise the Ramon, which is what Byron Saxton did last night. You take it down and you fly back up. I have taken a stunner. I have footage of it somewhere. I will find it and I will post it. And you can judge me and you can criticize me for that. Andre Rodriguez Super Chat says, still hoping to have the talent sitting in the crowd. Imagine them chanting, let's go Cena, Cena sucks, and it be genuine, hand on heart. Unfortunately, my friend, you're not going to get that. As soon as they start doing that, they are massively in violation of what governments and health organizations are telling them. You can't. I at first thought maybe they could do that and kind of, switch things up as they go. Empty arena means empty arena. It means nobody in the crowd. Nobody's going to be allowed to watch, not even the wrestlers themselves. You need to keep as many people out of that building as possible, probably right down to the fact that at WrestleMania 36, if Seth Rollins versus Kevin Owens is on first, everybody else will probably be in vehicles outside, and then Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens will go back. They'll go into their own vehicles. New people come out. That's probably how they'll do it. So in that venue, there is the smallest amount of people possible in order to obey the rules, essentially. Don't get me wrong, it's correct. But again, cinemas are shutting down. Restaurants, cafes, bars, theaters. We have to all tread very carefully So I don't think having superstars in the crowd is going to happen, but it would be good. Lamel KH2 says Sammy dancing to Shinsuke's theme is an Oscar up. Pretty much everything that Oscar's doing at the moment is an Oscar up. Nothing she's doing makes any sense, but I don't care. You can throw story out the window for now. As much as I like my seed planting, you can throw all this. You can throw all this out the window. Someone says Happy St. Patrick's Day. That is this week, isn't it? The amount of things that are just going down. Why is postponing it until late in the year not a viable option? I don't think anybody said it wasn't a viable option. But the thing is, we don't know when this thing is going to go away. What if we get to August and it's still here? What if we get to November and it's still here? Then you start looking back on it and you're like, sugar, we should have just got it out the way. I think you have to do it for that reason. And I think you have to do it because I don't want to get to September and still be having Drew versus Brock. We'll all be sick of it and then we'll be moaning, oh, I can't believe it. I think that, in my opinion, it's best just to pull the trigger on it now. Look, if somebody then comes out and says, oh no, by September everything will have been cleared up, that changes the situation. But we don't. I was listening to the news the other day. They said it could go on for a year. Then you just have to carry on and see what goes down. Where am I looking? An October Halloween inspired WrestleMania 36. Could do Halloween Havoc. I don't know if they're actually going to call this WrestleMania 36. That's the thing. I'm assuming they will. But do you call it like WrestleMania Ground? No, you don't call it that. But I don't know. Give it some special name and then do 36. I think they're just going to make a massive deal out of SummerSlam, which again is fine. It'll be the year we look back on. It's not like if this was happening for no other reason, then well, why the hell not? Then you can start going, but it doesn't make any sense. But it does make sense. We do know what's happening. I really don't think it matters that WrestleMania has been changed. I think it matters for the people that were going to go and the people that lost out of money. I am one of them, so I can completely understand that and empathize with these people. But from a purely product point of view, it is just wrestling. And there are far bigger things going on right now. So I appreciate whatever I can get. And I enjoyed Raw and I enjoyed SmackDown. I have no doubt I'll enjoy AEW. I think SmackDown Round 2 will be when I realize how important a crowd is to the proceedings of pro wrestling. Not that I didn't know that already. And we'll go from there. Before we wrap up, thank you to everyone that came down to my wrestling matches this weekend. I was debuting for TNT Ignition on Sunday against Big Guns Joe. Had a really good time, really good crowd. Appreciate that. Got a few boos as well, which I love because finally somebody may turn me heel. So shout out to them. Really good promotion. Check them out. They've unfortunately had to postpone their next couple of shows as everybody has. But again, if you're in the Liverpool area and you can go see them, hopefully they'll have me back. But even if they don't, go and check out. There's a good old wrestling show. And where the hell else was I this weekend? How have I forgotten this? I've forgotten my own booking. I was at a Pro Wrestling Vortex. Thank you, Brain. A brand new wrestling company, and they were awesome too. They had a Titantron, and hopefully I'll have some footage of that for you soon too. So yeah, you can check out Pro Wrestling Vortex, and I will. I'm sure they'll run shows again as well. But yeah, that was good as well. So keep an eye out for that. I meant to be UPW on Saturday, but unfortunately they have cancelled. So I will not be wrestling this weekend, and that is the first weekend in a long-ass time. And it's those kind of things where you get a little, well, I certainly do, you get a little bit sad. That hit me right in the eyes then. I was like, man, I wanted to wrestle anyway, but when it gets taken away, you doubly want to wrestle. So if you start looking at me over the next few weeks going, Miller's getting fat, I am. Not joking. It could happen, to be fair. The gyms are next. But yeah, it does suck. But again, health first. So if you do have tickets to see me, make sure you get in touch with your relevant wrestling company. I'm sure they'll sort you out. Most people are doing refunds. And we'll get back to it. That's the main thing. We'll get back to it. Right. Please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Please hit the like button if you haven't already. That helps massively, especially with live streams. I am going to leave this up for the public so you can watch it afterwards. And the more engagement it gets, the less it hurts my other channel. You can come say hi on Instagram and Twitter at SimonMillet316. I do have a Patreon, patreon.com/SimonMillet316. You can check that out. Thank you to everybody that super chatted today. I massively, massively appreciate it. And of course, in 9 minutes' time, ups and downs for Raw, the craziest Raw ever. Over on What Culture Wrestling, just search that into, or type that into your search bar and give them a subscribe too. And of course, you can listen to all of these on podcasts. We're on iTunes or Apple Podcasts, whatever it's called these days. We're on Spotify, we're on SoundCloud, we're on Acast. We should be anyway. If you can't find me somewhere, just let me know. But you just search for Simon Miller's Pro Wrestling Show. And I am going to try and do a few specials on here, and I'm going to try and do a few specials on there, so you're always getting some unique content if you're subscribed. I think that's important. I think it shows, it keeps you engaged. That's my idea. Somebody wants to call it Special Mania. Don't do that. don't call it Special Mania. It will go the wrong way. Look, keep enjoying wrestling for what it is. We'll be back on Thursday on here at 1 p.m. GMT to the second live podcast of the week or wrestling show. And then later that day again, twitch.tv/Simon316. Come watch me play some Doom and we'll have some fun. Maybe we'll even give away some prizes. Who the hell knows? Take care of yourselves. At the moment, definitely take care of each other. Don't know what I'm talking like Jerry Springer, but I am. And we'll be back. We've got loads of YouTube content planned. May even bust out a video later, even though it goes against what YouTube likes. I don't care right now, though. I got to keep myself occupied. Put a smile on your face. Do what you can. If you are locked away, I will try and bring you as many videos as I can, if that's what you should wish, to entertain you as best as I can. But other than that, I'll talk to you when I talk to you.